Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 37 of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am so happy you are joining me here today on this snowy morning. I did not know it was going to snow this morning. I set up my little treat dunks order, and then I went upstairs to use the bathroom before hitting send, and I looked out the window and I was like, oh, we are plowed into the driveway, and even the road has not been plowed yet. So never mind, I'm going to cook breakfast at home and make my own coffee. I hope you are doing well. Anyway, this is my knitting YouTube channel where I talk about all the things I've been crafting. I also talk about what I've been reading towards the end of the episode. If that sounds wonderful to you, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a craft. We'll dive on into things. This week on this episode, I have a handy dandy note, so if you see me looking down, that's what's going on. I have 2 finished objects. I have a hat work in progress, 3 different sock whips to show. I have some upcoming plans today that I want to talk about that are going to be happening this afternoon. I have a very short reading update because this week did not go as I planned. And then I have some life stuff at the end where we will talk about all the things that did not go well this week. So yeah, let's dive on into it. First of all, I am drinking in my roommate's Cheetah mug, which I have commandeered because it is my favorite. Basic instant coffee this morning. I have so many fancy teas I could be making. And I was like, what if I don't? What if I just go for easy caffeine? It's good. I don't care. And then I also have water with like a squeeze flavor in it. So we are working on hydrating this morning. I also have, I'm wearing hand knit socks. They are an older pair. I've had them for a couple of years. These are the socks on a plain pattern, which is a free pattern you can find on Ravelry. These are in Stroll Tweed in the color, I think, North Pole Heather. I've had them for years. They are my favorite. They are the only pair of socks I own for myself that I have had to mend. Because I've worn them to the point where they already need a hole, and I've had them for like 2 years. Unsurprised on that, but also very sad because I really like them. So yeah, that's why I'm wearing them today, actually, because we're snowed in. I can't go anywhere, and I know that there's mending on the back of the heel, and I'm not ready to find out whether that's gonna rub or not. So I was like, if I can wear them without having to put them in shoes, then I don't have to find out about the Schrodinger sock yet. So, yay. Anyway, that aside, we would go ahead and jump into finished objects this morning. I love these. My Seafarer socks are done. This is a pattern from the Sock Project by Summer Lee, and which was a gift that my parents bought me for Christmas. So this is just a basic, ribbed cable sock. But I used neon sock yarn, obviously. The sample in the book is like a bright yellow. This on some screens shows up as yellow. This is a lime green. This is Melissa's sock yarn and the color is Zesty Lime. So it is not yellow. If you're seeing yellow, I don't know how to help you. I know, like, I showed it to my parents and they were like, those are yellow. And I was like, they're not yellow. But yeah, anyway, I love them. I love them to pieces. They fit me perfectly. I did the smallest size, 56 stitches. The pattern calls for you to use a US size 2. I used a 1.5 because I was just running on autopilot. And I love them, 10 out of 10. I would make them again. If I had other super vibrant colors and no other patterns to knit, I would make those again. Absolutely. Those took me almost a month to make. So yeah, absolutely crazy, but we love it. The next finished object is actually something that I mended. I talked in last episode about how I have an older brother and he's awesome. And one of the things that he does is anytime I knit him anything, he wears it until it falls apart and then continues wearing it and then mails it back to me from Florida and is like, can you mend this? I want to keep wearing it. Which is the cutest thing ever. So he sent me 2 of his favorite hats. I have not worked on one of them yet because I was not in the right mind space, and I want to take my time. I want to take my time doing it because I know that it's like his favorite article of clothing of all time. And so I want to do a really good job on it. And this week did not go my way. So I was like, I'm not going to touch that because if I get frustrated, I'm going to do stupid impulsive things. And like, I can just wait for a better day. But I did. I'll scoot close so you can see. I took this lovely hat that had this giant hole in the top. And I did my first ever Latvian braid. I also picked up the stitches in the wrong direction, so there's a purl row underneath the Latvian braid. Love that for me. But I did a Latvian braid for the first time, and then I added gold, which is not what I said I was going to do in the last episode, I know. But I just wanted to do something a little bit funky. I was like, if I'm going to mend this, and if I don't have the original yarns in the first place, I might as well just go for it. So I went for it. I think it looks really, really cool. I think my brother especially, he's gonna rock it. So yeah, so this one's good to go. I need to do the other one because I will see him in 2 weeks. I go on vacation a week from now, which is another thing we will talk about in life. But I need to get the other hat done, and there's a pair of socks that I'm hopefully going to have completed before next Sunday. So we'll see. Is that maybe a little bit aggressive? Possibly. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. But if I don't get to it, it'll be her Christmas present. And I've dealt with it 10 months in advance. Yeah. Anyway, the next thing I worked on, I did something stupid that I will not do again. Which is, I am back in school. I have been in school twice before, right? So I'm not new to this. In fact, I'm a former gifted kid. Just so we're clear. In case you can't figure out that vibe already, I'm a former gifted kid. I graduated high school with a year of college credit. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2 years flat. I also went to nursing school and did a 1-year program in nursing school, and did really well at that too. So I understand school, or at least I thought I did. And I was like, I have never needed to take notes in my life. Because I don't do that. Anytime I try to take notes, I just draw all over the page, like mosaic little squares and rectangles and diagonal things. That's what my notes look like. And I had my first accounting class on Monday, and I was like, I don't need to take notes. I know everything. Also, I'm going to show up 15 minutes early. Also, I've done all of my work. And then I showed up thinking I was like, like real hot stuff. And I was 15 minutes late and a chapter behind on assignments. And rather than taking notes, I worked on my hat for the entire 3.5-hour class. So on the bright side, I got a ton of work done. The jellyfish is where I was, and this is where I am now. On the other hand, that did not go well for me. I still don't understand chapter 1, and I sat through class. And I also read the chapter, and I also watched the lecture videos, and did the practice homework, and the adaptive assignment, and the other homework, the real homework, and did the quiz, and I still don't got it, don't understand. So I will never knit in class again. I did manage to get through, I got through it, but it was ugly. And then I had to do chapter 2 this week, which is also pretty ugly. And now next week I will have a tutor. Anyway, all of that to say, I don't know when this will get worked on. Literally on Monday, I was like, oh my God, what if I knit hats in all of my classes between now and May? And then I can just be super awesome. And I'll have so many new beanies and it'll be great. No. No. Yeah, anyway, this is my standard beanie pattern. It is not anyone's specific pattern. I just do a gauge that works for me. For me, that is, I cast on 144 stitches on a size 2.5 needle. And then when I get out the ribbing, I switch to a US 4. I do 2x2 ribbing for the beanie for a couple inches. And then I just go This is about halfway done, I would say. I knit until I lose patience, basically, and then put a crown on it. And I do my crown, I do a spiral crown usually, so I have 144 stitches. That's divisible by 12. So I'll do like knit 10, knit 2 together, knit 9, knit 2 together, knit 8, knit 2 together, so forth. And that makes a spiral. So yeah, that's how I make beanies. It's very simple. And that is in my little fall leaves bag. That brings us to our socks. Which one do I want to show first? You. So, in this bag, which is from Tiny Human Knits, I have my olive juice socks, which I have wanted to knit this yarn for years, and now that I'm knitting it up, I don't like it. Which makes me sad. So we are here. There's a hair on that. And I don't know if it's the contrast colors I'm using or like what my own problem is here. I don't love the way the pattern looks. Not enough to take it out, but enough where I'm like, I don't really want to work on it. I think part of it is the contrast colors I chose. I think I should have chosen a different color. It's hard for me to choose contrast colors in general. The lighting in my room looks really bad when it's not like super bright like it is right now. And like it's the middle of winter, so you know, after 5 p.m. you basically like can't pick colors. And I usually pick my colors in the evening, so it's great. Anyway, my contrast colors are, for the cuff, I used Stroll in the color Everglade. This is Stroll in the color Lemon Drop. I kind of wish I had used a brown. I kind of wish I had done like Grizzly Heather. I think maybe then I would like it better. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, the last time we saw it, I was here. We are now here. These are actually going to get put aside for the week because I want to work on the other pair more. I want to have it done before I go on my trip. But I will say these are the pattern. Again, not a pattern that I used from another source. It's something that I use for myself. I cast on 56 stitches on a size 1.5 Addy Flexi Flip. And I knit 10 rows of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, 30 rows for the leg. I do a slip stitch heel with a gusset. And then I just knit however many rounds I need for the foot and put a square toe on it. I know that, you know, there's tons of ways you can customize socks and make them fit perfectly. This is perfect enough for me. And that's that. I think it is time for a hydration break. How are ya? Okay. The next one I want to talk about, I just cast on yesterday. It's in this bag that my friend Kaylee made for me. And I'm calling these my neon spring socks because that is exactly what they look like, and you can't tell me I'm wrong. The actual color name is Summer Bikini. This is from Brazos Fiberworks, which is an Etsy store. I love this yarn. I love it. I love it so much. I love these colors. I love how bright they are. I am making these for my mom, and I want to give them to her when I am at Disney. So the race is on for me to finish these. Hopefully I will get there. I am already through the gusset, so there's that. I will definitely be working on these for the Super Bowl tomorrow. And then I don't know, I'll just work on it like during the week. I do knit when I'm watching the recap lecture videos for my accounting class. After I've already taken notes on the textbook, it is okay that I knit. So I will knit during that. In some of my other classes, I have videos I have to watch, and I understand the content better in those classes, so I am okay with like knitting when I watch, you know, the videos. That's fine. So these will get worked on, and we are in like the regular standard, you know, just stockinette in the round, so that'll be a-okay. The contrast color I am using is Knit Pick Stroll. This is the color English Lavender. I technically have like non-stroll colors I can use for contrast, but I've been finding it a lot easier. If I move to the side, you can see. I find it a lot easier to pick from this shelf than to pick from this one. Oh look, there's my Seafarer yarn. So yeah, I've just been choosing stroll lately. That's just been me. I do really like how that color works. I decided, because the contrast colors for the olive juice just did not go my way so much, I decided that I was not going to pick a contrast color until I'd already knit a full sequence of stripes on those socks. So I did, and I think it worked out well for me. So maybe I will continue doing that in the future, which means I can't have contrast cuffs on my striped socks, which makes me a little bit sad. But yeah. Anyway, the next pair of socks I want to show you, I talked about last episode. These are in a bag that's also from Brazos Dye Works, Fiberworks. And these are my Chattahoochee socks, which is on my Freckled Whimsy Polar Bear Shenanigans, which was the January colorway. I said last week that I would not, I really wanted to finish these because I was not going to let myself order Freckled Whimsy until I was done with this colorway. So here's the deal. I hate this pattern. I went to work on it. The instructions are so convoluted that I had to like frog back my work and restart like 3 times. And I'm only in section 1 out of 10. And the idea of having 9 more sections that I have to like reread the pattern multiple times and also go to multiple places in the pattern to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, because you have to look at the chart and it has these crazy abbreviations. You have to see what the abbreviations are, but the abbreviations are not in conjunction with the instructions. So the abbreviations just like tell you like, oh, this square means this abbreviation. Go to a different page to see what that abbreviation is. And I'm like, I'm not at that time in my life. I don't like patterns like that. Also, this week, like, kicked my butt in every single way. So, like, I don't know if it's just this week that I'm, like, hell to the no. But I think I'm at the hell to the no point with this. And I think I'm going to frog it and then put the yarn to the side until later. Because it's a gorgeous yarn. I just can't right now. And I think I am going to reinstitute my Freckled Whimsy just to kind of like be kind to myself, because like I'm like actively mad at this. Like I just like look at it and like I'm mad that it's one size fits most. I'm mad that I'm pretty sure that's not going to be me. I'm mad that the instructions are not well written. I'm mad that like I don't see how this is going to become a sock anyway. And I'm just not having a time. None of this is a good time for me right now. So maybe leave a comment. Part of me wants to rip it off the needles right now. I think I'm going to control my impulses just a little bit and put it back into timeout until further notice. Leave a comment below whether you think I should maybe give it another chance or not. Because I don't even think that I got through like a full pattern, like a pattern repeat in the yarn itself, because it's a 12 row repeat, and I think that I only have I'm only on the 11th color out of 12. I haven't even done a full repeat yet. I'm not having a time. I am not enjoying this. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put those to the side. And that brings us out of our whips and into our current plans. And we're going to talk about politics for a second. Don't freak out. This is a channel, I want to be very, very clear. This is a channel where the goal is to share whimsy in the world and to encourage people to like, you know, express themselves in a positive and crafty way. And for me to share the ways that I am doing that and to like just, you know, highlight the good in the world in some way. So it is not my prerogative ever to be like, hey, did you know the world's on fire? Like, we all know the world's on fire. Like, I don't need to tell you that. You already know. So I'm not going to tell you the world's on fire. However, the world's on fire. and there's an action you can take. There's an act if you are a knitter if you are a knitter or a crocheter, there is an action you can take right now, and that is to get the Melt the Ice pattern and knit yourself a resistance hat. So I'm gonna do that today. I'm throwing a party about it because I am who I am as a person. Organize. I will never come to someone and just be like, the world's on fire, have fun dealing with emotions of anxiety. But I will go to people and be like, the world's on fire, what are we gonna do about it? So what are we gonna do? Knit resistance hats. If you are unfamiliar with the Melt the Ice pattern, I will link it down below. It is a pattern, excuse me. It is a pattern developed by Needle and Skein, which is a yarn shop in Minnesota, where things are kind of hippity happening right now. If you know, you know. And all of the proceeds are going to help fight against ice. And again, there's a knit or a crochet version of the pattern. You buy it, it's $5. All proceeds go, again, to, go against ice, go to different, support groups or whatever. And then when you make the hat, it is a sign of resistance. The pattern is a recreation of hats that were very popular during World War II when Norway was invaded, to show resistance. It was like, the Norwegian resistance wore these hats. And people in Minnesota, a lot of them have like Norwegian ancestry. So for them, it's like, here's how my grandpa resisted. I'm going to do the same thing. I think that's really awesome. And I stand with Minnesota. So I'm doing this today. My group, it's snowing. So originally we were going to do an in-person like protest knit along like at my house. And, we got like 6 inches of snow. Is not happening. So it's moving virtually, which is great because now I can invite my friends who don't live close enough to come to my house anyway. And so we're doing a virtual knit-in today. And I think I have like 4 or 5 people showing up who've all purchased the pattern, and we're going to work on our hats. So I'm going to use my Brava Tweed poinsettia, which, yes, was going to be one of my donation blankets. I'm not worried. I've broken into it. My roommate is also going to be making this. She crochets. And so I gave one ball to her so she can make the crochet version. I'm going to use this one to make the knit version. I may also just fully adapt the pattern to make a fingering weight version later, possibly with that ball right there, because I prefer wearing fingering weight hats, but this will knit up faster. So I'm going to work on this one first. Also, I have a hat on my fingering weight needles. I literally just showed you it, so I can't make a fingering weight version right now. But yeah, it's a really simple pattern. It's, you could sight read it if you wanted, but also like donate the $5. You feel me? So yeah, stand in solidarity. That's the thing I'm doing today. All right, politics. Politics ended. Back to the real world. So, that was my upcoming plan. The next thing I have a very short reading update because I got hardly any reading done this week. This week genuinely kicked my butt. So the first reading update is, sorry, I thought my camera just said I'd been filming for 44 minutes and I was like, it's been 24. Anyway, the first book I finished was Killing Gravity by Corey J. White. That is his debut novella, which was published by Tor.com. It was one of the novellas I got from the senior marketing person back when I worked in bookselling. I don't know if I've ever shared this story of like why I have like half a shelf of novellas. I have like half a shelf of novellas on my bookcase, and I've had them for 5 years. And what happened was, back in the day when I was somebody in bookselling, which is so crazy to say, I had sent kind of a laundry list to the senior marketer of Tor, being like, here are the books I would love to read that you have already published. And the week before he gave notice, this senior marketing person who I did not know was senior marketing. I thought he was a marketing guy at Tor. I did not know he was like basically like just below the VP. Iconic. He was like, here's a giant box of like 16 novellas that have already been published. Merry Christmas. And then quit. As you do. And I still have most of them. I've read maybe half at this point. So yeah, Killing Gravity was one of the books out of that whole time of my life. I was excited to read it because I've heard really good things about Corey J. White. And this one was not it. It was not good. Nope. So I think I gave it like 2 stars. I was like, nope. I almost DNF'd it, and it's literally like 180 pages, like double spaced, you know, with like giant margins. It's a novella. Like, it only took 3 hours to read, and I was like, oh, this is a lot. Like, yeah. So then I started Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is also, no, that's an Orbit book, never mind. I've been wanting to read it for years and years and years. And I got like 40 pages into it on Sunday after I finished Killing Gravity, and I was like, obviously I'll continue reading this during the week. Spoiler, no. I am still 40 pages into Children of Time, so I will not be picking new books this week. I will just be functioning. I did have some library books on hold, and I let them lapse because I am not going to get to them. I really thought I had my crap together, and I did not have my crap together. So I'm going to take a coffee break, and then we're going to talk about everything that went wrong in my life this week. This is completely random, by the way. But I impulse bought shelf-stable flax milk at the grocery store the other day just because I had never seen flax milk before. And they were marketing it as like flax protein milk. Anyway, I bought it and then I ran out of my usual milk, so I'm going through that. And whenever I add it to coffee, it makes it taste like it's marshmallow flavor without me having to do like any special nonsense or buy a syrup. And that's so fascinating. I don't think I'm going to buy this milk again, but it's kind of like an unexpectedly nice thing. Like, now it just feels like I have a marshmallow latte, and like it's literally Cafe Bustelo and Sweet and Low and plant milk, because I'm allergic to dairy milk and I would break out in hives and not be able to breathe. Yeah. Anyway, life stuff. Everything that could go wrong this week went wrong. I've had a tension headache the entire week. So we'll kick it off with, I went to my Monday class, which had already been postponed a week, by the way. Went to my Monday class thinking I was all good to go, that I had already done the assignment, and that I was going to be 15 minutes early to class and blah, 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 blah. And I was 15 minutes late, and I actually hadn't done any part of the assignment and was already behind in class. And then I also, it was my first week of being, not working. So I had to apply to the usual government stuff. I had to apply for healthcare. I had to apply for unemployment, stuff like that. And none of that went well. Actually, unemployment got taken care of. Unemployment, we Gucci. We're doing good on that. But healthcare took almost a full week to clear up. And I was going so crazy. One of my friends, her real job is being a social worker, and she was like, I'm just gonna adopt you as a client because what you're doing is not working. Let me fix this for you. And I was like, okay, thank God. So I have healthcare again as of today. I am insured again, but it was a very rough week. Also, just the fact that I just had to be in uninsured limbo for a week because the government was like, what if you don't? And I was like, oh, that's great. That happened. And then, yeah, it's just been a lot. I found out doing schoolwork this week, which I already suspected, but did not want to admit. But I do not have a skill set for answering a question and being wrong without an explanation. I just fully have a temper tantrum. Like I am a 3-year-old who is being denied eating snacks for dinner. Just flip out. And which is really embarrassing, first of all. Second of all, it's just like really annoying to deal with, because it's like, why am I just like on an emotional roller coaster over like practice assignments that aren't even graded, you know? And so that was the whole thing. Also, in my accounting class, I was not doing well in chapter 1. Like, I do not understand any of the material from chapter 1. And so I was like, I think I need a tutor, because everything else is based on what happens in chapter 1. Ironically, I understand chapter 2 just fine. And it's technically the same. It's like the same material but harder. And I'm like, it makes complete sense. And then like they're like easy. And I'm like, no. I don't understand. Lovely. Anyway, I went to sign up for tutoring. I live over an hour away from my college, and I'm taking distance learning courses only. And like, I literally do not have a student ID for my school, right? Like, I can't go to campus. And the tutor himself was like, yes, we can do online tutoring. And then the tutoring like department was like, go to hell. No, you can't. And so it took like a full day of like emailing back and forth and like calling people to like be able to set up virtual tutoring. And I was at the point where I had drafted an email to the dean to like file a formal complaint for not being properly supported as a distance learner with my college. Like, that is the point I was at. Because I was like, no, like, this was part of my tuition. I paid for this. You're gonna tutor me. Like, I am in my 30s. If you want me to care, and I will. Like, no. Anyway, I have tutoring set up for next week. So that's taken care. Even as I like go over this, like my head is like pounding right now, because I'm like, I was just so like stressed out for so many things. Also, there were just like some different personal issues going on. The way that I left work kind of like left a bad taste in my mouth regarding some of the people that I worked with. So dealing with that has been a process. I don't want to say anything more than that. It's been a lot of emotions with that, and with everything. Yeah, so basically what I've been doing every day is getting increasingly stressed out through the morning, and then being like, maybe the gym will fix me, and going to the gym. So on the bright side, I've gone to the gym every day this week, and I feel awesome for that. We'll talk more about the gym in a second. And then I come home, and I'm like, I'm still stressed out. And I spend the whole rest of my day trying to calm down while not being able to enjoy anything that I'm doing. And just feeling like I have to do things. Like, I have to get this knitting done. I have to do, I have to make dinner. I have to do this. And not having a good time whatsoever. And then I go to sleep. And in the morning, I wake up. I'm still in bed. I wake up. I'm like, yes, we're going to have a good day today. And then within half an hour, I'm like, I hate everything. But in positive news, I've gone to the gym every day this week. It's been lovely. I have a personal trainer that I use. We meet like every 2 weeks. And because my week had been so crappy, I messaged him the day before we worked out, and I was like, hey, can we do a workout that is just based on the vibe of I want to fight something? And he was like so excited. He was like, oh, hell yeah. And so he's like looking around the gym trying to like figure out like what's destructible or whatever. And so he planned this workout for me. And I had some of the things you might expect, right? Like doing like the ropes, and like doing like medicine ball slams, and like using the punching bag. Like, that makes sense. But then he got out like a hammer. I'm going to put a picture here. He got out a hammer and let me just like beat the crap out of a tire. Like, as a workout. like wood chops, but like just as hard as I could with like a little Thor's hammer to like fight stuff. I was like, this is the best day of my life. 10 out of 10. I do feel better. So yeah, that was the highlight of my week. I'm very excited to see my friends later today, even though it'll be virtual. That'll be good. I have the Super Bowl on Sunday, and I am hoping that next week is going to be a little bit more smooth sailing. We will see how that actually goes. Actually, no, let's take a look ahead real quick. So, not tomorrow, but the Sunday after is when I fly to Florida. So I don't know whether I will be filming a video next week or not, because I am getting my hair done next Saturday, and that's going to take like 4 hours or 5 hours because I have kind of a lot of hair and we're dyeing it a different color. I have to do 2 weeks worth of schoolwork next week because I am not going to do schoolwork while I am at Disney. That's not happening. Period. And I think it would be very interesting to assume that I will come back from Disney on like Friday and then like do homework on Saturday. Like, no, I'm not. Bless my own heart. So I don't know how much knitting I'm going to get done next week. I don't know if I'm going to have time to film next week. There's a whole lot where I'm like, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be smooth sailing just because I know what I'm getting into. But yeah, it's very possible that you might not see me for 2 weeks, and I might just roll back in and be like, here's what I did while I was standing in line at Disney World. I'm bringing hats, by the way. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to bring this guy, and I'm going to bring a couple other yarns with me, just so, like, if I finish that hat, I can just immediately cast on the next one and just kind of, like, not have to deal with anything hard. That's my plan. And yeah, I think that's all my upcoming stuff. So I will see you when I see you. I hope you have a fantastic time. I hope you continue to resist if that's the thing that you were doing. And yeah, have a whimsical day. Okay, bye.